Or for worse, Valentine's Day often puts your relationship status in the spotlight. And if you are single or in the dating world, this can be a difficult thing to navigate. Ashley is getting the scoop on relationship flags and what to look out for.
Well, by now you know that Valentine's Day is here, but while many are celebrating, if you are single or in the dating world, you may not be having as much fun today. So we're here to help. Dr. Daryl Appleton is joining me with maybe some red flags, maybe some green flags to look for if you are out there on the dating scene. Good morning, doctor.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining me. You are in Rhode Island. As you know, I told you I've been looking you up on Instagram, and I love following you because you have some really down-to-earth advice that you share with people, which is why I wanted to reach out to you. It's a jungle out there if you are trying to date, even if you're not trying to date, if you're single. So I wanted to jump in today to maybe help people along that path. I guess we can just jump in and start with some of the red flags. If you are dating, what are some things maybe to be wary of that would kind of make you think, I don't know about this?
Yeah, I think when we start with dating, we want the best. We want the best outcome. So we are always looking for ways to work out because so badly we want to be a part of a couple. It's in our biology. But sometimes these red flags take over and all of a sudden we find ourselves either years in a relationship or in a pattern of relationships that don't work out. And a lot of times my clients and people I work with are asking themselves why. So some of the top things that I see as red flags that people should look for are if actions don't match words. If you find somebody that is constantly talking a really good game but never delivers on that, they always say something's going to happen exciting or it never does, or that they love to travel but won't actually get on a plane. It can be small things, but that's something to look out for because I want to know why, what's the incongruency there. And when it becomes bigger things, it could be absolutely detrimental to a relationship. Some of the other stuff is communication issues. People who either run from communication in that fight or flight way, that would be the flight part of it, or they lean too heavy into the communication, whether it's oversharing or aggressively sharing or shutting down your opportunity to share. A lot of couples that I work with, communication is usually an issue. And it's a red flag because if it never gets fixed, you are always going to find yourself on the receiving side of an unhealthy communication pattern, which is at the core of how we relate and engage with each other. And I guess the last one would really be if it feels like somebody's always losing in the relationship, if you feel like you're always compromising, if you feel like it always has to be this other person's way, I would say really evaluate your relationship. Is this what you want? Do you want to feel like you are constantly in a place and a space where you're not getting everything that you need and you're only staying in the relationship because you're too afraid to be alone? So those would probably be some of my top three out there. Not saying that there aren't other ones. Obviously, violence and excessive, drinking or drugging might be something on there too. But these are the ones that I see as a step down from that if everything else on the surface seems kind of really great and copacetic.
I feel like we could take the entire hour program just to talk about those three things alone, and I'm nodding along and kind of laughing a little bit because I think, if you are somebody who is out there and has dated a couple of different people, you've seen a lot of this stuff. It's really helpful to be aware of it so maybe you can kind of, stop before it gets too far along that path like you were saying. Now let's try to lighten it up a little bit because that can be tough and it can be disheartening. But there are probably some things that are actually positive that maybe we can look for if we're out there to give us a little hope, maybe the one's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, and relationships aren't all green flags. They're really not. There will be some red flags. So I guess the other frame of this is if it's all red flags all the time and there's no change, that's an issue. Some of the green flags, though, are people who use I statements. They are talking about themselves in a way that when hard things come up, they say like, I disagree. I want to hear what you have to say about this, but these are my feelings about that. So I statements don't mean they are always talking about themselves. Mm-hmm. I statements mean I can tell you how I think, I feel, how I'm perceiving something, and what I might need in a situation. That is a sign of somebody who is an incredibly healthy communicator. And again, those actions need to line up with those words, but that's a really great thing to look for. The other thing that I really like to see is somebody that takes responsibility. If you guys get into a fight or if there's a misunderstanding, something. Somebody that says, you know what, that was absolutely on me. I should have called you last night. I said I was going to. I fell asleep. I completely understand why you might be a little annoyed. I will try better. And then hopefully the action's there to follow up. But I love seeing people take responsibility for the things that they need to in the relationship. And this includes us on the other end for our own green flags.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I really like to see people who have great self-soothing skills. So people who aren't leaning on others, another person, place, or thing to make them feel better. They know what they need as a person. They know how to self-soothe. They know when they're angry, what they need to do to calm down. When they're sad, they know what supports to reach out to. That to me shows that this person is doing their work. This person is engaging in a healthy behavior outside of this relationship, so it doesn't become codependent. So you're not the person that they go to with everything. They have other resources, and they would never make you feel like you were an integral part that couldn't be, you know, they couldn't function without you. So I love those three things when talking about green flags, because they show a lot of maturity and depth and a lot of longevity in each of those different levels.
Absolutely. Just hearing you talk about them, it's a relief. It's like you think about somebody who communicates in that way and you're like, yes, that's great. That would be wonderful. So, you know, we could talk about this for a very long time, but we want to end quickly just by saying, and it's okay not to be dating. It's okay to just do your thing and lean into, you know, doing whatever you want to do solo.
Totally. There's a lot of research that's actually coming out finding that singles are becoming more depressed in this swipe right world. And sometimes we need to take a step back just for our own well-being and our sanity sometimes. So leaning into being single is something absolutely to do this Valentine's Day. Have yourself a day and date yourself. Like go treat yourself really nice. Lean into understanding what it is you're actually looking for and the power that you have being an individual, because when you do that work, all those green flags that we just mentioned, you show up being a healthy person at the other end of the table. And hopefully that person that's sitting back looking at you is doing the same thing in their time being single, and sparks fly and wonderful things happen.
Great advice. We love it. Thank you, Dr. Daryl. And we will have much more from Dr. Daryl at roadshow.com.